welcome back to the Entertainment Vortex. Today we are at Brennan Theaters watching Happytime Murders. Now I'm going to tell you, I did not know what to expect going into this movie. When you watch the trailer, it looks like it's going to be like a PG-13, maybe a little bit edgy, mixture of adult concepts with puppets. That is not what this is at all. This is a hard R. So know that going in. I'm talking like Sausage Party, Team America World Police, hard R. Some of the stuff they show you, even at the beginning of the movie, completely catches you off guard if you're not prepared for that. With that being said, it was actually a pleasant surprise. It added a level to this movie that I wasn't expecting, and it added a level to the dialogue that I think worked even better. If they were trying to kind of skirt around the concepts of adult humor, and they were, just kind of halfway dipping their toe in, I don't think the dialogue would have worked. But the fact that it was just so extreme and ridiculous made a lot of the jokes hit a lot harder. Because that awkwardness you feel being in a room with other people watching this crazy stuff just makes it that much more funny. It adds to the environment, it adds to the experience.
I went into this film expecting something that seemed kind of like a movie 43 cutting room floor kind of deal, like something that was going to be super, super terrible. To be fair, I was pretty surprised. It definitely does have that kind of really kind of gross out humor kind of stuff, but it wasn't something that deterred from the movie nearly as much as I thought it was going to. I laughed several times. They didn't put all of the good jokes in the trailers. It was actually pretty funny a lot of the time, and I was not anticipating that. I went in with the lowest possible expectations. I was expecting to just groan constantly at this movie, and I was shocked. So giving this movie a score is going to be something difficult to quantify, but we'll make it to the end of the review and we'll kind of figure that out as we go. The puppets were interesting. Something that I wasn't expecting to work as well as it did. It was like a really, really, really hard R buddy cop movie. At least as far as what I pulled from the experience. That had a lot more tread than I thought it was going to. It wasn't anything new or nuanced, but not in a bad way. It wasn't something like where you're expecting everything that's coming as far as like the jokes are concerned. All of the liners and everything, all the banter was pretty excellent. I was definitely surprised at how well they managed to make the jokes work.
This movie's story is nothing amazing. It's not like you're going to go back and go, wow, that was some top-notch writing, twists and turns. Not really. But that's not really what this movie is about. It's a murder mystery, but at the same time, a lot of it's kind of predictable. You go to see this movie not to be shocked by the mystery, but to be shocked by the humor. You go to see this movie for the dialogue and the funny one-liners and the idea that puppets exist in real life, and a lot of them are really raunchy. That's the idea that you want going into this movie. And if you're in the mood for that, the alternate Henson approach, which apparently is the name of the production company that made this movie, which is hilarious. But if you're looking for like the alternate Henson approach, the Jim Henson but adult, this is definitely what you want because it is not pulling punches.
The story itself is pretty basic. It's all just there to fuel the jokes. But I mean, I said the same thing about Super Troopers 2 a couple of months ago. That was a similar process, but the jokes themselves, they land, they work. That's the important part. There were a few times where I did roll my eyes and groan and throw my hands up and say, what the hell am I watching? But it wasn't in a way that I was so deterred that I would have left the film. I wouldn't have walked away. It was just like, this is so weird. Why am I a part of this? But I'm kind of enjoying myself. That's definitely not a bad thing to think, especially considering I know that at this moment in time, a lot of people are really tearing this movie apart and not giving it a lot of credit for what it does right, which is it makes you laugh. That's the whole point of a comedy.
When it comes to the basics of the movie, things like acting, special effects, I was actually pretty impressed. I'm not a huge fan of Melissa McCarthy normally. Her style of humor kind of just rubs me the wrong way a lot of the time, not all the time. She didn't bother me in this movie at all. I feel like she fit in really well, that her character was well suited for her personality, and because everything was over the top, her being over the top just made sense. Even being over the top, there were subdued scenes, and surprisingly, a couple of actually emotionally touching scenes. There's one scene with a puppet getting killed. Obviously, this is a murder mystery about a world with puppets. There's one scene about a murder of a puppet that I actually got a little squeamish. I actually looked away. So apparently they were doing something right because it's a freaking puppet. Who cares? But apparently I'm one of the racists from the movie that hate puppets. But yeah, whatever. You learn something about yourself every day.
Visually speaking, I wouldn't say that there's anything groundbreaking, but it doesn't like stick out like a sore thumb either. They do a really good job of making the puppets work in real life. You don't see the strings, so to speak. movie. So it's definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen, that's for sure, and it's definitely not the worst thing I've seen this year. And there are a couple of references in there for people who keep a closely peeled eye. You'll catch a couple of things. There was an early on Wu-Tang Clan reference that kind of caught me off guard, and I thought that was hysterical.
I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. I actually really enjoyed this movie. It's good. It's a good comedy. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's not gonna win any awards. I can guarantee it's not gonna win any awards. If you're looking for a fun movie, you are aware of the fact that this is pushing the envelope as hard as it can. It is a hard R. Then you know what? I have a feeling you're gonna enjoy it. Everyone in the theater laughed out loud at least once, and a majority of them laughed out loud more than once. I hope more people go to see this that are into this type of Family Guy style humor. Looking at the theater we were in, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we will see.
Overall, I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. Like I said, it's not the best thing I've seen this year. It's definitely not the worst thing I've seen this year. But I enjoyed the ride. It was definitely funny. It did what it was supposed to do, and I'd probably watch it again to see if there was anything I missed.
If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We give you multiple videos every single week. And we have t-shirts available if you're interested in those as well. Those are available down in the description below. We hope you'll follow us into the Vortex. We'll see you next time.